We are mere days removed from one of the most violent wrestling shows I've seen all year, and that is AEW All Out 2024. And even now, people are still buzzing about it. For better or worse. The talk going around, or the question on everyone's mind is, did AEW go too far? Did this show jump the shark? With all the blood, the violence, we had a woman fall into a pile of thumbtacks with the splits. Her vajayjay got thumbtacks jammed up it. You had a man try to suffocate another man with a plastic bag. That's attempted murder. One of the many acts of attempted murder throughout the show. There was so much blood on this show, you could fill a blood bank with it. And then the main event saw a man jam a needle, a syringe, in the mouth of his opponent and then practically kill him with one of the most brutal chair shots I've ever seen. It sounded like a shotgun went off in the arena. I doubt you'll ever see a show like this as violent, at least not here in 2024. Not from WWE. Forget about it. AEW, who knows? I'm not gonna put it past Tony Khan and his twisted, fun, but twisted mind when it comes to this stuff. Clearly, he grew up loving ECW and other old school, violent, territorial wrestling shows. Now, when it comes to this question of, did AEW go too far? This is something I have been looking for when it comes to this idea of AEW being the alternative. See, when AEW first started, by merely existing, it was the alternative. By merely telling logical, competent stories and having shows that make sense, it was the alternative to Vince McMahon's WWE, which was, I don't mind saying it now, because it's how I felt then, it's how I felt now, some of the worst television we've ever seen under the WWE umbrella. The characters were terrible, the stories made no sense, everything was week by week, scripts were being ripped up. I can't believe I'm still a fan by how much I dealt with watching WWE Raw SmackDown week to week. Thank God for NXT, thank God for Lucha Underground, thank God for AEW. But back then, they didn't need to do much. Just have a show with great wrestling, exist, and not be Vince McMahon. Well, guess what? That doesn't work anymore. Because here in 2024, probably since 2022, when Vince left, somewhat came back and then left again, and it was Triple H's show, now WWE is doing logical storytelling with great wrestling. And their storytelling is better than AEW's because his storytelling is serialized. Everything has a purpose. Although it's not all great, you can't say it didn't make sense. You can't do what you did with Vince McMahon with Triple H. Because Triple H is and will forever be better at this kind of thing. He is great with storytelling. So you're not going to outbeat him when it comes to stories, long-term stories especially. You're not going to outbeat him when it comes to creating new stars. You're just not. You're not going to be a better booker. Not in this sense. So Tony Khan and AEW are in a spot where they are no longer the alternative. They're not. If anything else, AEW and WWE are starting to feel kind of similar. Not just because of the way the shows are booked, but also because of the talent. We're seeing more and more AEW talent on the WWE shows. Like a Jay Cargill, like a CM Punk, who used to be in AEW, but here he is. Like a Cody Rhodes, who also used to be in AEW. And they're not the only ones that we're going to see. I guarantee you we're going to see a Ricky Starks. I guarantee you we're going to be seeing a Wardlow over there. Maybe in the future we'll see an MJF. Things aren't looking good for AEW. Their attendances, I don't have to repeat all the stuff that you already know. Attendances are down, ratings are down, merchandise sales are down. Overall buzz is lower than it's ever been. So something needs to change. We all agree, right? They can't keep going down this path when they're bleeding viewers. You have to fix the bleeding. You have to get to the core essence of what the problem is. And the essence is the product isn't fresh anymore. It's not high on demand, because everything that AEW was doing under Vince, the WWE is doing now 10 times better. We got good wrestling. WWE also has good wrestling. Sometimes better wrestling. We have good stories. WWE has much better stories with a lot more engaging characters. So now AEW has to do something that WWE isn't doing. And what is that? What is the one thing that Triple H hates that the WWE, knowing that it's PG, is not willing to go to, is not willing to invest their product in? Violence. Unfiltered, unrelenting violence. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, violence is the answer. Back in the 90s, when WCW was kicking the WWE, WWF's ass, what did Vince McMahon have to do to start beating them? When WCW was being run by Eric Bischoff, who hated what? Blood and violence. Couldn't stand it. Was not willing to go to those links because advertisers. WWE did the absolute opposite, the exact opposite. Crude language, middle fingers, cross chops, women showing their breasts, nudity, all kinds of crude adult humor, television, violence, lots of blood. Men being thrown off Hell in a Cells, excuse me. What else could you do besides be the complete opposite to survive? They had no choice. They were forced to do what they had to do in a battle that was life or career for them. I was going to say life and death, but I don't want to go that far, although it kind of was. You know what I mean? Every week for the WWF back in the 90s, they were coming in to fight for their lives, their livelihood. So they had to push the envelope. And as a result, the Attitude Era was created. Do you think half of us would be wrestling fans now if Austin wasn't throwing the middle finger? If The Rock wasn't going in there doing his catchphrases, but also pushing the envelope with his phrases? DX doing the crotch chops. Women doing bra and panties. We look back on that now and go, ugh, that's a bit much. But hey, that was what people were looking for. That's what got them the 6 million, 7 million viewers each week. They played to the times. They understood their audience and they pushed the envelope. They did the things that WCW was not willing to do. And here we are in 2024. AEW is getting their asses kicked in all aspects. You can argue the pay-per-views are the best things about them. And yes, I will argue that AEW does have that edge over WWE. Their pay-per-views are 10 times better, are so much better, especially here in 2024. But outside of that, every aspect of their business is failing. They are getting their tails kicked by the WWE. They have to change the product. They have to be the alternative. Otherwise, they're just not going to survive. And so now Tony Khan, in my opinion, has to do what the WWF did in the 90s. They have to push the envelope. Everything that we saw at All Out, I don't think they should get away from that. You shouldn't back off on it. No. Lean into it. Am I saying do blood, guts, gore every single week? No. What I'm saying is, teach your audience, show your audience that you're willing to go there, that you're willing to be the product that WWE refuses to be, that you're willing to give you blood, that you're willing to show all this crude, violent acts of just, I don't want to say CZW because I don't watch CZW, but at least ECW, GCW. Every once in a while, I don't mind a man coming in with a pizza cutter and threatening to cut you. How you doing, Nick Gage? Every once in a while. Every once in a while, yeah, you gotta have someone get hit in the head with a steel chair. Protect yourselves, of course. But you have to push those envelopes. Now, a lot of people are going to hear that and go, well, what about CTE? What about all of this, all of these injuries and potential life-threatening instances that could happen as a result of us going this route, of us going the ECW route? Well, my response to you is, well, they're dealing with that anyways. Even though WWE is a lot safer and more PG, you don't think they get hurt? These are professionals. Everything they do is dangerous. And it needs to be displayed that way. And that's something I think a PG WWE is lacking. It's lacking this aspect of what we do is dangerous. When I watch WWE, it feels like, wow, I can clearly do this. I'm not saying that we actually can. But I shouldn't feel like what these guys are doing is something everybody can do. Which is why you need that element of violence. You need to have blood. You need to have crude language. You need to have these guys in there that show us, ain't no way if I tried for 10 years for the rest of my life, I would never be as good as these guys. I would never be as good as a Will Ospreay. I will never be as good as a Swerve Strickland. I will never be as good as a Bryan Danielson. I will never be these top tier wrestlers as much as I would try or want to be. But how do I feel that way? Seeing them bleed. Seeing them go in there and put their bodies in a line. Put their bodies in situations that you would never see anyone else put their bodies in. That's how they earn the respect of their peers, of the fans. When you see a man go through a flaming table, get up and keep fighting, you go, that son of a bitch is tough. Some of you might go, well, he's an idiot. But would you be willing to do it? Absolutely not. No one's ever, in my opinion, sane and then would put themselves through a table for money. You would have to be absolutely crazy. All of these guys are crazy, men and women. But we love them because they're crazy. We love them because they're willing to go to those lengths to entertain us. AEW has to go to those same lengths. They have to be willing to open the creative envelope. Damn it, I'm quoting, of all people, Vince McMahon from 1997. And you know what? At this point, that's where we are. Tony Khan needs to be that Vince McMahon from 1997 and go, nope, enough. We're getting our asses kicked. It's time to push the envelope. It's time to do the things that the WWE is not willing to do. Be the ECW, be the Nirvana. Change the guard. Yes, have storytelling. Yes, do certain elements that WWE is doing, like the cinematography, the way the show is shot. You can take certain things from them and use that for your shows. I'm not mad at that. But be different. Stand out. When I watch Dynamite, I shouldn't feel like I'm watching a light beer version of Raw. Or even a light beer version of what you used to be, AEW. I should feel like this is 100% different from what I've seen on Raw and or SmackDown. And the only way you're gonna stand out, whether y'all want to hear it or not, is with the amount of violence. That is the only way you'll survive now. Because Triple H isn't gonna go there. He might go there every once in a while. He might show blood. But you'll never see him have a man or male stick a syringe into someone's mouth and then hit that same person over the head with a steel chair. You'll never see that. But you'll see it in AEW. You'll never see anyone in WWE try to suffocate a man with a plastic bag. But you'll see it in AEW. You will never see a woman accidentally fall on some tacks with the splits in WWE. But you'll see it in AEW. That's how you stand out. Violence. Of course, be smart with it. Be safe. Don't kill yourselves for real. I'm pretty sure Darby Allin is listening to this going, bet! You want more violence? Watch me! Look, okay? Don't go set yourselves on fire and blow up like one of those, I don't know, take any kind of horror film where someone is just dying in the most crude ways. Saw, right? Don't become Saw. All right, let's not start kidnapping people. I want to play a game. You know what I mean? Let's keep it within the realm of wrestling. Keep it grounded, but make it more gritty. Like one of my favorite shows, The Boys. I love The Boys. Great story, great characters. 4 seasons in, about to do the last season. Five seasons and they're out. They're not going to overstay their welcome. I love it. But I can't wait to see each season, even with Gen V coming out very soon. Because you know you're going to get something that you will never see anywhere else except on these shows. No matter how gratuitous it gets, there are some scenes that are unnecessarily horrible, nasty. I'll even admit that. I can't tell you about the termite scene from season 3. Those of you who have seen The Boys, first episode, termite scene. He crawls up, you know what, and then grows, and Jesus Christ. Listen, if you want to know what I'm talking about, The Boys, season 3, episode 1, watch the first 10 minutes. Then come back. Matter of fact, if you haven't done it already, pause the video. Pause it right here. Go and watch, what is it, Prime Video? Prime Video. Find The Boys, season 3, episode 1, first 10 minutes. Then come back. Yeah. You will never see anything like that. Anything like that on any show. And that's why The Boys stands out. Is it nasty? Yes. Is it going too far? Probably. But this is what AEW has to do. You are competing with a shark. You are stepping with the big dogs now. It's a different game. You're not fighting Vince McMahon anymore. You are fighting Triple H. And Triple H is coming for that ass. Pause. Triple H wants to take AEW down because AEW embarrassed Triple H when he was running NXT. So, clearly, he wants to take everything that Tony Khan has and is. And Tony, if he doesn't fight back, he's going to lose. And how do you fight back? By doing the things that Triple H is unwilling to do. You have to push the envelope. You have to. We're at that point now where if you don't, you won't survive these next 5 years. And I'm serious. The way things are looking for AEW, they are continuing to lose viewers. Across the board. Rampage and Collision are basically unwatchable at this point. I can't even sit through a single minute of Collision anymore. It's that bad. You have to go in a different direction. Something has to change. Violence is the answer. Of course, great storytelling, serialized storytelling, things that make sense. Pushing certain people that are good at what they do, creating new talent, creating new stars. But do it under the guise of a TV-14 violent show. Because wrestling inherently is violent. Be the Nirvana to wrestling here in 2024. You gotta shake some cages. Or WWE is going to continue to steal your market share. It's going to continue to run amok. And before you know it, you'll reach a point of no return. And AEW, just like many other companies, will fall to the wayside. And then it'll stop being popular. It will not get as many viewers. And then talent are going to go from AEW to WWE. And then within 5 years, AEW is no different than TNA, Impact Wrestling. And then here comes Maple Leaf Wrestling. Everyone just thinks that, all right, he's just competing by Tony Khan is just competing with WWE. You got Maple Leaf Wrestling getting ready to come up. You got NXT finding its footing again. Who knows what's going to happen with Impact Wrestling TNA? You always have to be pushing the envelope and keeping your best foot forward and growing and prospering. This isn't a game, Tony. Welcome to the big leagues now. You played the game on easy mode in 2019. Now you're on hard mode. So step up or step out. This is the only way they're going to compete. Do you disagree? Or do you agree that maybe AEW should lean more into the violence, lean more into the blood, lean more into the crew language, lean more until we get to the point where AEW is actually competing, as in merchandise sales, as in attendances, as in market share, as in people are talking as much about AEW as they do the WWE. This is what you have to do. Create a reason for fans to tune in every single week. You have to be the alternative. You have to. This is the only way. Do the things that Triple H is not willing to do. Let me know how you feel. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If you agree, let me know down below. But thank you guys for watching. I wanted to do that video as a result of what people have been talking about. Violence is the answer. Am I crazy? Yeah. And so are you. You're crazy if you're watching this as well. And that's fine. We can be crazy together. So I just want the best for AEW. I want it to be able to say that it's always looking to improve, always looking to grow, always looking to do the things that certain companies are not willing to do for its fans. And that is just a part of being in competition. So step up or get stepped on. Thank you for watching. Give me your thoughts down below. Do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, and VENMO. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys next time, right here in Alyx's world. The place I did was and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Peace.